Hello, my name is Oscar Perez Del Torre, and I'm going to be covering my business canvas model for my electric lawn mowing company. This is a hypothetical company, not a company that I've started, but it's also a business model for a company that I haven't seen before myself. A company like this might already exist, but there would certainly be a market for it in any sort of large city or large residential area with suburbs and pretty much anywhere with lawns existing. There'd be a market for this kind of company. So I'm going to be going over each of the 9 segments of the business model canvas, and starting with the customer segment. My main customer base would essentially be any kind of homeowners in the Tampa area. As long as they have lawns. So any kind of homeowners with lawns. For the exact model of lawnmower that I would likely be using, as long as there is connections between all parts of the lawns, whether that's a doorway or even a hole in a fence, my lawnmowers would essentially be able to reach all parts of the lawn. When it comes to the channels, interactions and basically acceptance of new customers would mostly happen online and over the phone. At the beginning, depending on how I'd like to run business, I might do some in-person canvassing or, like door-to-door sales kind of deal, or direct mail. But after I pretty much have an established client base, it would be all through online or over the phone interactions. I would be using electric vehicles to deliver the lawnmowers from each house to the next on specific routes for that day, and that would be my end goal. At the very beginning, I may realistically be having to use a gas powered vehicle. So the customer relationships would be of extremely high value. I would be going for year-long contracts with discounts for anything longer than a year. That's really important for a lawn mowing company or pretty much a landscaping company, because there is a lot of call for it in the summer and not as much of a need from customers during the winter. So you want to lock people into year-long contracts so that you have still an expected, pretty much accepted profits in the winter. That's not necessarily a high season for grass growth. So you want to make sure that you already have a client base for that time period, because you won't really make any new clients at that point. So the value proposition for clients would be extremely low cost. So the lawnmowers that I've been talking about are entirely electric. They could be charged beforehand. They don't necessarily have to have a port within the home, and they would be entirely automated as well. So they don't require any in-person controlling, and they also don't require any gas, which would be the highest cost items for existing lawn mowing companies today. The revenue streams that I expect with this company are entirely from the lawn mowing contracts. So I wouldn't really have any other uses. Potential future revenue streams would be something like pool maintenance, a different area. But as far as maintaining the lawns, I wouldn't do anything besides cut the grass there. Although I recognize that there are more parts to the lawn that need to work, I'm going to be covering that in a different segment. When it comes to the key activities, to keeping the low cost would be efficient use of the delivery vehicles and making sure that I segment the homes that I'm servicing based on how far the vehicles will have to drive and how close they are to each other. And that brings us to key resources. The key activities are extremely reliant on the key resource. At the beginning, at least, I would use a single delivery vehicle, probably carrying 5 to 7 electric lawnmowers. So pretty much I would drop one off at one house and set it up and go to the next. And then by the time I get to the 6th, 5th, or 7th house, the first one is done, and I'd return and pick that up. And that's pretty much what a work day would look like. I'd do 5 lawns in a day, 5 to 7 lawns. So the key resources there are obviously going to be the automated lawnmowers and the single delivery vehicle. Ideally, the delivery vehicle will be electric, which would save even more on gas, and the lawnmowers would definitely be electric. When it comes to the cost structure, the only cost I'm expecting would be the CEO salary, which would be my own salary, and the electric costs for maintaining the delivery vehicle and the lawnmowers, but that could be extremely mitigated by having a solar power unit at pretty much at the warehouse or the location that I'd be keeping the lawnmowers. Other costs that I would definitely be expecting would be insurance costs, maintenance costs on any of the lawnmowers, and the basic like licensing costs for a new company like that. That is, of course, not including the startup costs of getting the vehicle and the 5 to 7 lawnmowers. But as far as functioning cost, it would really mostly be the CEO salary and electricity. When it comes to key partners, this is actually really important. Besides suppliers and basic partners that I would be purchasing from, I would be extremely reliant on other lawn companies to do anything that needs in-person work, rather than having my own group of employees to do in-person work at homes. I'd much rather outsource that to a company that already has experienced employees and who I can rely on, because I would essentially be their client and they'd be doing something for me and I'd be finding work for them, rather than me trying to have to manage multiple people, several employees to do, what is essentially very hard labor. I would outsource that and rely on other companies to do any part of the landscaping that requires in-person or, very costly tools that are like gas powered. And that essentially is the main parts of my business canvas model.